Season 1 left us with a lot of expectations and a lot of disappointments. But Season 2 should try its best to leave us with no disappointments. And I have a lot to suggest for that. First, I want the story to expand on Vergil. Very much. Vergil has to be a vital part of this story. Because he is such an underrated character. Even regarding all the... they didn't even give him his own game when they introduced him to the special edition. And just, made him another, just putting him in and doing nothing but, going through the same missions, the same bosses, the same storyline. It is just lame, okay? And it's just lacking so much, so much development. And it's just ridiculous. Like, why would you introduce a character to a game that's that popular and that loved, and not, honor him by giving him his own missions, what he can do, what he's, what he can go through? Like, they don't do that. And why the fuck they don't do that? Like, I don't get it. Like, you're gonna make more money, your games are gonna be much more in depth, it's not gonna be so just shallow. So, even in the games, he doesn't get a shot until Devil May Cry 5. And even in that special edition, they didn't give us, his own missions. And for example, they could have given us like a setting of what he went through when he was in hell, and what he fought with those, what he fought in order to get out of hell alive. And he basically was crawling his way out of, hell to come to the real world and, get his Yamato, get his sword, and, work his way through separating himself. Like, we could have had that type of story and, that type of setting for our gameplay, for our missions and all that. So we could have lived, in those moments. But they didn't do that, obviously. Which is why I'm so excited for Season 2, because we're finally gonna see what Vergil is, doing in his, in his own life, what Vergil is doing without, like coming in contact with Dante and all that. Which is another point. Imagine if Vergil finds Dante when he's frozen. Holy moly, that's gonna be one hell of an interesting twist, don't you think? Like, Vergil has always been the person who was in need of help. Not Dante wasn't really like that desperate for help ever in the games. He was always the guy with the motorcycles and all that, He never was, captured by Mundus and tortured to his bones and, just basically brainwashed. And he wasn't like Vergil, Vergil is the one who rose from the ashes, basically. So Dante being frozen in a lab, and just paint this picture in your head. Dante being frozen in the lab, and then Vergil suddenly finds his brother, the one who has, like, the person who has not come to his life for the past, decades. And then all of a sudden, there he is, frozen, hopeless, just absolutely paralyzed. I am so intrigued to see what Vergil's reaction would be like, in those situations. So I hope, I know it's a long way to for making, it's a very long way from getting season 2. So I hope, Adi Shankar sees this video and, gets some ideas, at least. Because Vergil seeing Dante in that state and just being confronted with the decision to either save his life or to abandon his brother. I don't think he's gonna abandon it. I think he at least is gonna crash out and really go out on these humans for doing this to Dante. And you gotta remember, Vergil hasn't seen his brother for like decades, alright? It's not like he's just living with him and he sees him every day and it's no matter, he's just gonna leave him behind like that. I don't think that's gonna be his reaction, to be honest. Vergil still has so much humanity in him, alright? So much humanity. Yeah, he might have focused on his devil side to gain power, but he didn't abandon his humanity, of course. He didn't just, become a senseless creature, mindless creature. No. He still has, he can still get emotional. Not the cry type, but the anger type, So I am just painting this picture in my head. I'm just imagining Vergil just screaming like Devil May Cry 3 and then activating his devil chip. I absolutely want to see that, yeah. That would make cinema. So, again, I hope that happens. And not to leave Vergil behind and go to the second suggestion, I guess you can call it. Vergil needs to get out of the circle of Mundus and basically free himself. Redemption. He has to get away from Mundus's influence and actually see things for what they are, which he hasn't had the chance to do because the game's storyline was different, the plot was different and all that. So this all makes for such an interesting turn of events, So again, I'm absolutely hooked to see what is going to be going through Vergil's mind, how things are going to turn out for him, and all that. I absolutely want to see all of it. So Vergil has to have a lot of screen time. Second, lady, you should face a lot of backlash. You should just you should face a lot of harsh consequences for what you have done. And Dante shouldn't forgive lady. Not at all, not one bit. He should at least be like, you backstabbing son of a what. And you should at least either go off on lady, or lady should be scarred for life by some other external factors. I don't know, like with demons and all that. She has to go and suffer for what she did, because I absolutely despised her after seeing what she did, And what she did was one hell of a dick move, I would have gladly called her a pussy, but it just doesn't meet that criteria. So yeah, lady is such a natural born fucking low life for doing that. She's so stupid, and she's so, man, her leash is in the hands of the government more than any dog, okay? More than any dog you can find. It's just so sad. So she has to come to her senses, and I'm sure she will, I'm sure she will. But I believe it when I see it. So lady has to face a lot of consequences. And these are the two things that have been just burning inside for the last months, for the last weeks, it's better to say, that I've watched Devil May Cry. These two, I absolutely want to see. And the third wish is, of course, Dante shouldn't be a punching bag, Dante has gone through a lot, and I'm sure he has learned a lot. Dante shouldn't be treated like a punching bag. He's a half demon. He's a fucking half demon, descendant of Sparta's son. So you should you should act like it. And I'm sure, when I saw how he looked like in Devil May Cry's, Devil May Cry's season 2 teaser that they put on, that music video, and he looked absolutely majestic and just stylish, really cool, really cool, outfit. So yeah, I guess that's most of it, but not all of it, because we have this military thing going on inside of hell, which was just such a shocker for everybody who saw it first. That was the most outrageous thing that could have happened, and it happened. And I'm kind of glad for it. And I'm kind of glad that it happened, because it's just gonna present so many opportunities to be used here in order to craft very entertaining stuff and very entertaining sequences. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm just hooked, man. We really needed a show like this that expanded. I mean, it's not canon. I would absolutely rather have Devil May Cry 6 than this, but we have it right now, and let's just get the best out of it. And Vergil has 3 forms. Okay, his human form, his devil trigger, and the armor that Mundus gave to him, which is obviously his Neo Angelo form. People think that's his devil form. Of course it's not, man. He just picks that armor to honor Mundus, which is an absolute heinous act. It's just so disrespectful to your family and whatever. But he doesn't know that. He obviously doesn't know that Mundus was behind all this, which is unfortunate. But he doesn't know that. So what else? Yeah, you have the characters from Devil May Cry 2. You have what was her name? Lisa? Is that that's not his name. That's not her name. I don't know. Yeah, so a lot of stuff, a lot can happen, and I'm all for it. Let's see what happens.